to shoot it, and not really knowing what was going to happen. Did it generate so much business that it made you rethink, like, oh, I could make a movie like this. I could make like a full-size feature, or you just did this movie, working this movie, Cabin in the Woods. Did the success of Dr. Horrible, was it big enough that you realized like you could totally bypass studios and everything else in the whole apparatus and run the business that way?
Well, yeah. Yes and no. I mean, the thing about obviously, never put your own money in a show, they say. And then they say it again louder. But this was a thing where we were in a position to and willing to just say goodbye to it. This is my midlife crisis money. This is just, we're gonna do this and no fancy car, which is good because I don't like cars. But and that's a rare position to be in. And it works at a certain level. It's a small venture. We've made back our money, and then we've made back our money, and then we've made back our money. Like, we've done really well with this.
For a movie now, do you feel like you could just do it on the internet in this way and know that you could spend $5–10 million and know, like, okay, we're safe?
No. I don't, first of all, have...
No.
On me. But the thing is, the model doesn't grow necessarily. It doesn't scale up as much. The thing about Dr. Horrible was the original investment was ultimately not huge. Then the wildfire success was by the standards of most people who not only run studios but who make their livings in television and movies pretty much negligible, or right. took a while to appear. What Dr. Horrible was really useful for was realizing there is another way to do this. That there is some play and levels at which you do it, because where there was just TV that was put on the internet and somebody's cat, and then we tried to do something that was in between. So we know that there is this gray area where you can go in, make a certain investment, and hope to make it back. But
so you don't think that, because you don't have like a little like fantasy in the back of your head of like, okay, I can do a TV series this way and it'll just be done this way. Like there's not no part of your brain which is working on that as a...
There is a large part of my brain that is working on that. I thought after Dr. Horrible that this would become a lot more popular. But nobody really seems to be rushing to do it. I've actually talked to a number of people about raising money to put more of this kind of product out, and people are not ready. Certainly at the studio levels, they are used to controlling everything and spending a certain amount and getting a huge return on it. And the more they spend, the more the return they get, and that's increasingly become the model. Obviously, in movies, they're just getting tentpole. Let's make 3 movies instead of 30.
Versus this, with the idea of let's keep the costs down and make what we can.
Right. The thing about this is it worked at the level it worked at. If I were to do it again, I would have to take into account a number of things. One, I couldn't get people to work for free, but they all got paid, by the way, after the fact. I couldn't expect the same kind of media explosion. We didn't have any publicity for this, ever. We had no publicity budget. We basically cut together a trailer. Jed did it himself, and all he did was download it. I exploited every media contact, every press person who's ever been nice to me, as much as I could, and that was pretty much it. So going in, it wouldn't be the same. This surprised people. They didn't see it coming. Now they would. You don't get that same kind. You don't in on a pass. So you'd have to work it more carefully if you wanted to.
Now you and your brothers and your sister-in-law are writing a sequel to Dr. Horrible. What, if anything, do you want to say about that here?
It's called Dr. Horrible 2, Penny's Still Dead. It's a
zombie.
Going for a slightly different format. It's 28 seconds long. And it's a book. So, a few changes. Very little. Very little. I actually had a confab with the Team Horrible before it came out. I was like, what do you think I should say about the things that we're doing late at night in the attic when everyone else is asleep? Tell them nothing. Which I just done at great length.
For fun, we'll get together people at your house and you guys will read Shakespeare plays and each person takes a part. And you used to do this during the production of Buffy and you still do it, right?
Mm-hmm. Not as often, but yes.
Not as often. And what would be like a typical lineup? Like what play would you do and who would play who?
Well, the idea is to rotate and you know, everybody is Hamlet one day and carries a spear the next. But generally speaking, Alexis Denisov seems to find himself in the lead. You know, I mean, we did
Cymbeline.
Actually, we didn't. That was one of the ones we didn't do. It was Midsummer with, we did it actually twice. The second time, Nathan Fillion was bottom. Hermia, it was the first time I had some Firefly people sort of join in.
What I'm curious about is so you're having your cast over and your friends over and you're going through the play while you're still in production on your TV show. Would you ever use it in some way to put something into the cast head? Like, you know, like, okay, we're going to write something that's going to come up and there's some scene in here, some feeling in here that would just be nice for everybody to go through. Or you just want to see how something plays or how somebody does with a certain kind of moment. Is there ever that kind of thinking to it?
You know, not so much in the sense of, okay, everybody, we're going to read this tragedy so you can all be sad next week. I mean, because ultimately this was my busman's holiday. It's like, well, this producing is killing me. It's killing me. I'll just produce in my spare time. That'll be fun, and sometimes it was. But things did come from the readings because, you know, you see things that you hadn't seen before, and I've said this before, but the best example was after seeing Amy Acker do Lady Capulet, I killed Fred and created Illyria. I was like, well, she can do that. She forgot to show it, so let's. And you know, watching Morena do Hermia was also a revelation because she was hilarious, which is not something I got to be that often. So it was, you know, it does affect what I know they can do and what I'll take from them in the future sometimes.
That's interesting. Are there other examples?
I think I've tapped out.